was on the identity of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, where I wondered how he has got different names from Unza, and the way we know him today, as well as the information that I had that there are two names, there are two NRCs which are alluded to be that of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. The other issue was the issue relating to the house that is in Chester, which belonged to Zimco, and the sitting tenant of that house was deprived of that house, and mysteriously Mr. Hakainde Hichilema owned that house. The other issue relates to farm number 1924 in Kalomo, Southern Province, which was under Lima Bank, mortgaged under Lima Bank. Lima Bank went under liquidation, and Grant Thornton was appointed as liquidator. Mr. Hichilema used to be part of Grant Thornton, and in 2004, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema bought that farm, and yet he was a managing director. He was a managing partner of Grant Thornton. From my point of view, I looked at that as taking pecuniary advantage. The other issue was the issue relating to Mosotunya Hotel, which I'm still investigating, as well as the house that he owns in Kablonga. Now, of these issues, I have reported Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Based on some of the issues, the issues that are brought before the Anti-Corruption Commission, it's the issue relating to the house in Cheston. I've also reported Mr. Hakainde Hichilema on the issue relating to the farm number 1924. I've reported this to the Anti-Corruption Commission. I know a lot of you yesterday were looking for me, but I didn't want the commotion at the Anti-Corruption Commission, so I sneaked into the Anti-Corruption Commission to report these matters and came out because I knew that I was going to have this press conference here. Of course, during the course of the day, I received a demand letter to asking me to retract what I said, and some I don't know, some funny amounts being asked that I should pay. I will be declared bankrupt. I want to respond to that later. Firstly, if you look at the issues that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has brought out, he's being very careful in the way that he's responding. If you are not naive, you can actually see the guilt in Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. You can actually see the fear in that letter. Just when he starts talking about it, he doesn't mention anything about the two NRCs. He doesn't mention anything. He doesn't touch that issue. He doesn't. When he's talking about the house, he's referring to say, why don't you contact Zimco, the ones who are having records? Because the people that were given the responsibility to liquidate Zimco are his friends. Mr. Norman Mbazima is his friend. We know the connection of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and Anglo American, and this Mr. Norman Mbazima, until I think last year, he was the deputy chairman of Anglo American. These are the same people. These are the same people. So, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema cannot be referring me or referring the public to his friends whom he worked with to take advantage of Zambian resources, of the people of this country's resources. He's referring us to his friends, people who helped him to acquire some of these properties. They were conniving, they were working together. I am making sure, I want to make sure that all those people that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema worked with, they will also be brought to book. I have given their names to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Mr. Norman Mbazima, I know he's not in the country. I want to appeal to him. He's a citizen. If he's a responsible citizen, when he will be called upon to come and answer some few questions, I hope he will avail himself. I'm actually looking for him. I've been looking for a contact for Mr. Norman Mbazima, and I'm making this public. I want to have access to Mr. Norman Mbazima so that he too can come and, you know, help with the investigations that the Anti-Corruption Commission have started. I have also, he's talking about the farm. He says, no, it is in court, I'm being contemptuous. I am not discussing the details. I'm not discussing the details of their court matter relating to that farm. I'm not discussing that. I am simply talking about how come that this farm, which belonged to Rimabank, is now in his hands. This is simply what I'm talking about. If you go to the registry, you find that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema owns this farm. But this farm belonged to Lima Bank through a mortgage. And he was liquidating Lima Bank. This is all I'm talking about. So there is nothing contemptuous what he's talking about. But this is the guilt and trying to threaten me. Trying to threaten me with contempt. Instead of responding, how did he buy that farm? How did he get that farm? So as far as I'm concerned, I owe Mr. Hakainde Hichilema no apology. What I said, this is what I found out. This is what I found out. This is the evidence that I have. And as a responsible citizen, I'm taking this to the authorities, to the relevant authorities, to look into these matters. And this is what I've done. I've taken my evidence to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Let the Anti-Corruption Commission look into these matters. And at the end of the day, if Mr. Hakainde Hichilema will be exonerated, will be exonerated. But I want to insist, because I saw the excitement on social media. Yes, Tayali has been sued. Yes, Tayali is going to pay this. The excitement that the social media has, especially those supporters, is the excitement they should have the day that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema will be found guilty. I am sending this message through you, the media. Tell the supporters of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who, by the way, include some of the international communities. Because I know for a fact that some international communities, some conglomerates, are supporting Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And they were very excited that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is demanding 10 million kwacha from me. I am telling you that that excitement you had, you should have the same excitement if Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is convicted. Because I know what will happen. If Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is convicted based on my evidence, they will turn around and start saying, no, there is no democracy. No, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has been barred from standing. If you can celebrate Mr. Hakainde Hichilema demanding 10 million kwacha from me, you should also celebrate when Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is found guilty and convicted. Because the law should not apply differently. The law should not segregate. When it is somebody that is influential, we are quick to defend them, to come up with all sorts of excuses. I don't want this. I have started this, and I'm glad Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has asked 10 million kwacha from me. I am telling Hakainde, if the court clears you, I'll give you 10 million kwacha. I'll give you. I will give you 10 million kwacha. If the court clears you, I'll give you 10 million kwacha. But if the court convicts I want you to thank me and give me that 3-bedroomed house you promised. Give me that 3-bedroomed house you promised. This issue is on. It is now on. It is between myself and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And I'm telling everybody, please, at the end of it, don't start bringing in other issues. I know what I'm fearing, why I'm insisting on this. I know a lot of people will jump around to say Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, because he was the strongest contender, he has been bad. No. These are matters, I started them here. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has responded to me. Don't come in and start bringing in other issues pertaining to democracy. You know, I like to face things. At the end of the day, you will hear them start saying, no, Edgar Lungu is whatever. APF whatever. Edgar Lungu, I've got issues with Edgar Lungu himself. And his government. Not particularly himself, but his ministers. I am fighting them. I've got 2 ministers, I've been saying this. 2 ministers that I'm following. The day that Brian Mushimba will walk out not as a minister, I'll be at the Anti-Corruption Commission. So for me, it's not about PF, it's not about UPND, it's not about politics, it's about what did Mr. Hakainde Hichilema do. And this is what I'm following him about. At the end of the day, Hakainde Hichilema is convicted. What? You are happy he's asking for 10 million kwacha. The day that you'll be convicted and you go to jail, don't react the same way that you did Pali Bakambwili. When Bakambwili was convicted, Bakambwili, the case was clear, very straightforward. The evidence is irrefutable. Even himself couldn't defend the facts that I brought in court. He couldn't. At the end of the day, he was convicted. And some of you started jumping around to say, no, Mr. It is political, it is what? The evidence speaks for itself. I showed you the evidence here. And I've taken that evidence to the Anti-Corruption Commission. On the NRC, I want to get just one little detail. I'm taking it to the police because some issues cannot go to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Like the issue on the identity. The issue of the identity cannot go to the Anti-Corruption Commission. The issue of the identity goes to the police. And yesterday and today, part of this morning, I only came out of the Anti-Corruption Commission, slightly after 10. Those issues, I've left them with the Anti-Corruption Commission. When I finish with the Anti-Corruption Commission, now that I've finished, I'll now move to go and report to the police on the issue of the identity. These are my cases. And I highly doubt Mr. Hakainde Hichilema will escape this. So those who are in UPND and supporters of UPND, I guess they should start preparing another candidate for 2021. Mark my words, UPND start looking for another candidate. Because from my point of view as a layman, when I look at the evidence, I don't see Mr. Hakainde Hichilema surviving. If anything, when I looked at the evidence which I had Pali Bakambwili, I am more confident on Hakainde Hichilema than I was on Bakambwili. I will repeat that. I am more confident on Mr. Hakainde Hichilema than I was on Bakambwili when I look at the evidence. Because just think of it. You are given a property to liquidate. And part of the property is found in your hands. What evidence are they going to bring? What defense are they going to bring to exonerate him? Just that, if you just pick that one, I run with that. Where is Hakainde Hichilema going to remain? There is nothing contempt here. I'm talking about privatization. So, it's a friendly advice to the UPND. Start looking for another candidate. Hakainde Hichilema, I very much doubt is going to survive. That 10 pin is asking, he should prepare that 3-bedroom house. I think I am not going to waste too much of your time. If there are questions, you can ask me. Simple and straightforward. Thank you.